Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Blossoms with Bourbon. My name is Mark, I'm the owner here at Creative Occasions, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to my workroom. So this episode is devoted to preparing for the holidays, because do you, like me, feel like it's a crush, you know? And when you get there, there's so much to do, so little time to do it. The perfect way to start that is with a drink, right? The pour for tonight actually is Joseph Magnus. It hails from Kentucky. It is a triple finished product that is actually started out as a finished product from MGP distributors, and then it is finished in one type of cognac and two types of sherry casks. So I'm expecting, of course, the color is kind of indicative of that, but I'm also kind of expecting some of those fruit notes too. Lanterns. Who doesn't love a good lantern in your home, outside your home, on your porch? They're really beautiful for year round, and you may own something similar to this or, other types of lanterns. I want to just show you a quick way to kind of turn it into something really beautiful for the holidays. This is nice. You're going to like this, Jason. Definitely get a little bit of that fruit that comes, I think, from the sherry and the cognac casks. Anyway, so we're going to take this lantern. I'm going to take a regular swag. This is a teardrop swag. Its name, of course, from the shape, teardrop. And we're going to apply that to this lantern. Now, you may think, golly, that swag is so big. But let me show you what happens. When you put the swag on the lantern, and basically, I don't know if you can see this from the camera above my head or not, we're going to take these two pieces of wire here that are part of the swag, and we're basically going to just twist them on like you would a twist tie, and that's what's going to hold this whole thing onto the lantern. And then we're going to just bend it a little bit so it kind of looks like it just sort of falls or cascades right over the sides of the lantern. And there you go. Already it's pretty. So let's make it even more so, right? All right, so that's going to kind of give you the basic format, the basic shape. We're going to add a little bit of ribbon to it. We're going to add some berries. Let's do ribbon first. I am a fan of mixing ribbon patterns, and my secret for how you do that is to make sure that you have the same tonality of ribbons so that the color scheme in the ribbon is of the same value and intensity, okay? So these reds that I'm using, you'll notice, are all pretty much the same intensity. That's a key element of making this work when you're doing it. The other thing is that they're all red and white. There's a little bit of kind of a silvery fleck in this houndstooth, a little bit of gold along this edge. That doesn't bother me at all. I think that's going to work beautifully. And the widths are different also. So the widths are also going to play nicely to how this bow comes together. I typically don't do fussy, big, lots of loop bows. I like bows that are pretty simple. So we're going to just start by taking the bottom one, the biggest one, making a big loop for it. And you'll see that this size lantern is going to need a pretty big loop. So we're going to start with a big loop on the bottom. Because this ribbon is one-sided, we are going to have to flip it over so that the right side is out as we're working on finishing the bow. And so that is actually going to finish the big loops, just two. Then we're going to do the next one. And then when I'm looping them over, I'm just pulling them to the underneath here where I'm working so that they tuck right in at the bottom. Another one, tucked at the bottom, still over top of the big one. Okay, then we're going to take the small one, do the same thing, do a slightly smaller loop, tucked in at the bottom, another. So that really is essentially going to be our bow, okay? One pair of loops for each type of ribbon, kind of stepping back in size as you go from largest to smallest. Going to take a chenille stem. I like chenille stems for tying ribbon because the little texture, the little fibers that are on the chenille stems really do grip the ribbon and keep it from moving. I think I've said this before to you guys, if you've ever tied a ribbon with a piece of wire and then had it start to slip around and move on you, it's just one of the most horrifying things ever, because you spend all that time tying the ribbon and then you have to deal with retying it. All right, well, it's about the end of that one. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna make this the front. We're actually gonna tie the chenille stem around that swag. I'm not gonna tie it around the top of the lantern, and I'll tell you why in just a bit about that. We're gonna tie it around the swag. You can see here, there's the chenille stem. Just gonna pull it tight, give it a couple of good twists. All right, now we're just going to work it out. And these guys, I left a little bit longer, so we're going to pull them over to the side and kind of entwine them with some of this greenery. I'm going to do the same thing on this side with these. You know, it's so funny, whenever I say to Jason, this is going to be a quick and easy episode, it always ends up being one of the longest ones we do. So let's just see how close I am tonight, okay, on this one. Now, how I'm attaching this ribbon into the swag is, again, because these are all pieces of wire that are just covered with that greenery. You just make that wire work for you. So we're going to just take the ribbon, kind of scrunch it up, loop that piece of greenery around it. It holds that nice little loop in place beautifully like that. Do another one there. I will also caution you, if you have good ribbon scissors or good fabric scissors, do not use those on Christmas ribbon like this that has wires, because you will completely ruin the blades of your scissors. So use scissors that you don't care about. All right, we're gonna do the same thing over here now. Oh, and another technique that you can use for ribbon, instead of cutting a little fishtail in it, if you like this better, after you get the tape off your finger, because it has wire in it, you can literally just fold up the bottom, kind of crease it, fold it and roll it, fold it and roll it, and it makes a nice, smooth, square edge. If you prefer that, you can do that one. But this one I'm going to pull back to the back a little bit before I do the pinch thing. All right, there you go. So we've got this nice kind of bow accent. Of course, because it's me, it's a little off center, so it's a little to one side. But it needs just a little bit more. So let's put some berries or ornaments or something in there. Let's try these berries. I think the berries would look nice. Now with the berries, depending on how permanent you want this to be, you can wire them in. You can just kind of tuck them in and lay them in place. One thing that I like to do is tuck them in and then take a piece of the greenery and just kind of wrap it through and around the berry. So you really have kind of secured the berry in place, and you can pull on it and it's not going to come out. Okay? You do have this little stem that you have to worry about that's showing on the other side. You can either cut those off, bend them, whatever your preference is. All right. I don't know, I kind of like the look of the berries, so I think we're going to go all berries. But first, there's Joseph Magnus. Jason, did you get fruit when you were trying this? Any fruit elements? No, just hot. Okay. It's not a heavy rye mash bill, I don't think. There, yeah, definitely some like the red pepper cinnamony kind of. Those. I'm just old and my palate's dead. That's why. Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. All right, let's do a few more berries. Again, just put the berry stem in, flip that greenery kind of around it to kind of secure it in there. One thing that this kind of swag was already done is that you should always be aware of fluffing out greenery and silk products or artificial products when you use them. That really is, I was in a seminar once with this great designer who did a lot of work for developing silk products with import companies. And that's one of the things that he said is that you breathe life into the product when you manipulate it and when you actually fluff it out. And that's an important part of getting it to perform well, is when you do that. So we're going to put another berry down here. I'm already wishing I'd brought some pine cones. That would have been really nice in this too. All right, one thing I'm going to do, you notice how that kept kind of, it's like spinning a little bit on top of the lantern, how we just have it attached at that one place. The top of this lantern happens to be open. And so this is an open piece. I'm going to actually just take 2 of those little sprigs of greenery and twist it right there around that. And you're never going to be able to tell I've done it, but that's going to help it keep from spinning. We'll do that on the back side on the other side too. I don't know. No, I just like the berries. All right, let's, this opens here at the front like this, and the lid actually kind of folds up and over like that. It's got this nice little support strap here. So let's get some candles in there. I will tell you that I think that you should always use LED battery-powered flameless candles in a lantern like this where you have artificial greenery up top. The heat from the candles can cause this to melt. It might not be a good scenario. Back down. There we go. So lovely and relatively quick, Jason, accent for your home. Using a lantern that you already had, something that you may have used for other holidays, other occasions, just other decor in your home, a little accent, which now can completely be just untwisted, taken off the lantern. You haven't done anything permanent to it. So you can just put this swag in a box, in a bag, keep it for next year, pull it out, tie it on while you're having your bourbon, and use it again. It'd be a great feature and accent. I want to show you this other one that's behind here. This is a different style of lantern because this lantern has no glass in it. So what we were able to do is run the greenery through the lantern instead of over top of it. That's also a really cool way to approach it. If you can remove the glass from your lantern, or if you have one like this without glass, this is just a small segment of garland. The exact same treatment with the bow, 2 or 3 ribbons together, tied in, looped through. And in this case, we added some silver ornaments. These ornaments I grouped together in 3s before I put them on. And these little guys, going back in the day of floristry, these are called millimeter balls. These are glass, as they're probably the only downfall to them, but they come in little clusters and little groups when you purchase them in tons of different colors. And so basically I just twisted some little groupings of those millimeter balls on to give it a little bit more of a silver accent in the design. Again, using LED battery candles for this application too. Well, I hope this kind of gives you a little bit of a leg up on getting ready for the holidays. I know we all can use all the help that we can get. And I hope you have wonderful holidays. Focus not so much on getting your house ready, but on spending time with the people that you love. So if you really do want to support us, please like and subscribe the videos, and be sure to hit the little bell icon so that you'll be notified of new content. And again, until next time, cheers to you and to flowers every day. Thank you. Yeah, this is hot.